Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championships.
Welcome back to Online Darts. We're here at the Dazzler in Leeds and we've got the man of the moment, Luke Humphries. First of all, we come on to darts back in your city, haven't we?
Yeah, this feels like a hometown for me. You know, being in Leeds, obviously, I know it's not. I don't really have that hometown in darts because not really much is ever put in around the Newbury and Reading area. So being in Leeds, this kind of feels like a hometown to me in a way.
Yeah, and obviously these exhibitions are great for preparation for you guys, aren't you? You've got a practice room full of top talent. So in terms of the world's prep, this is perfect.
Yeah, the Dazzler always had a great lineup, and this year is probably one of the best I've seen. Me, Michael, Daryl Gurney, John Henderson, Dirk van Dijberg, Fallon Sherrock, Kevin Payne, and Tony O'Shea. That's a fantastic eight players. So yeah, it's good to be here. I'm glad to be a part of it again. Obviously, I won it last year, but I think Paul really wanted me back here to please the fans again, and obviously being in Leeds is great.
How important are these exhibitions for you guys in the build up to the Worlds? Because we saw you obviously go up to do the Granite City Open and play there. You guys seem to really flourish doing these before the World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's obviously nice to give back to the fans. These are exhibitions that Modus put on that, the fans can be quite intimate and they can be close to you and they can meet you personally and speak to you and congratulate you and take pictures and sign autographs, and I enjoy that part of it. It's nice to give back to the fans. I like having that sort of personal thing with them. But it's also, like you say, it's good preparation. I mean, obviously, I was in exhibitions in Scotland at the weekend and last weekend and played really, really well. Tonight is going to be another great exhibition. A tough game. I'm going to be playing Michael tonight, so it's great preparation. This is what we want. This is what we play for. Because there's obviously between the players and the Worlds, there's a 3-4 week gap, and we're not used to that very much. So it's nice to keep yourself busy and to keep playing.
Speaking of playing, Michael, is this where the banter and the mind games start almost? Because I know first and foremost that you guys are friends. Yeah. So I know that we put stuff out there and we hype the rivalry because rivalries are good for the sport. But ultimately, I know you're friends. But look, Michael likes a mind game as well. I know you like to give it back as well. So is this where it all starts?
Yes and no. I mean, of course, he's been bantering me in the practice room already, and I've been bantering him back. I think regardless of what happens tonight, whoever wins, it's not going to mean nothing for the Worlds because it's a different focus. We're out there to entertain the crowd. We're out there to put on a show for them. And when we're on the big stage and we're playing professional darts, we're fully focused on. We're there to entertain the crowd, of course, but we're there fully focused on winning. Tonight will be more about fun, but of course we're both going to want to beat each other. Obviously after the Players' Championship finals, he probably thinks I want to get one over you regardless of it's an exhibition, and I'm thinking I want to get another one over you to keep that in your mind for when I'm possibly playing the semi-finals of the World. So there is still that element of wanting to beat each other tonight for sure.
You touched on something there, and I was going to bring it up anyway because Darts World is already talking about it. Everyone has already penciled in that collision course path you two are on for semi-finals at Ali Pali, and I know you've both got to win games to get there, but this is a rivalry that is developing between you two now. And I go back to the UK Open when he kind of tried to do one over on you and you bit back for the first time, and that was almost, oh, hang on a minute, Luke's not scared anymore. And I don't mean, do you know what I mean, like intimidated, because Michael is a dominating figure on that hockey, and ever since that kind of moment, this is flourishing into a really good rivalry, and we can't help but pencil that semi-final date for another potential meeting.
Yeah, first of all, we've obviously got a lot of games to think about before we get to the semi-final. I've got a really, really tough run in, regardless whether people would tout me as the favourite or whatever. I've got a lot of tough games to win, and it's not going to be easy for me. I'm going to have to be playing the way I have done the last 2 months to even stand a chance of getting there. But obviously, everybody would love to see that game. And you say it's a rivalry. It is a rivalry, but it's a healthy rivalry. It's just two dart players that really seem to play well against each other. Me and Michael have had quite a few classics over the years. I've had some really big triumphant wins against him, obviously in the UK Open and that Euro Tour semi-final when I won my first one, and he's had some great wins against me in other majors majors. We just play well against each other. I love playing him because obviously he's the best player in the world. You know, he's the great of my generation, and it's a privilege to share the stage with him. So yeah, I just love playing him. And for me if I was going to make my first world final, I'd love to be beating him, of course, because you know there's no better way to do it than to beat the best players in the world. But of course, he'll be wary that if I'm in the semi-final, he knows he's going to have a tough game, and I know I've got an even tougher game if I'm to play him. But of course, we've got a long way to go there before we worry about semi-finals of the world.
Do you still regard him as the favourite for this year's World Championship?
I do, and I think he is the favourite, regardless of what the bookmakers say or what everyone else says. He's been there and done it. He's done it 3 times. I've not done it before. Not to say I can't do it, and it wouldn't stop me from doing it, but he's done it before, and over the last 10 years, he's been the most consistent player. So yeah, I still regard him as the favourite in my eyes. But I think a lot of people probably attack me as, oh, well, Luke's going to win the Worlds because he's won the last 3 majors, or throughout the last 4. But that does come to an end at one point. I'm not going to win every single major, and it might come to an end at the Worlds. It might not. But I think this form I'm in, I'm probably more capable and more well equipped than ever to be world champion. But of course, like I keep telling everybody, it's going to be tough. It's going to be the hardest thing I ever have to do, and I'm going to have to play at my absolute best to win it.
I remember I was the first one to tell you you'd gone favourite for the Worlds, and it kind of took you back, and not like it does. And I remember you going, oh, really? Have you had time to process that you are the favourite for Alexandra Palace in a few weeks' time?
I mean, first of all, it's a massive compliment, isn't it? Obviously 100%. Being in front of Michael, Gezi, Peter Wright, Michael Smith. There's a lot of players that I'm in front of that, at the start of the year, I probably would have been well behind. So to be in front of them at the end of the year just shows how much my game's come on, how much I've improved, how much people believe in the ability, and how well I've done. So of course, out of everything, it's more of a compliment to me that people really do fancy me to win it. And I've got to make sure that I don't let that sit on my shoulders too heavy, and I try too hard to go on and win it for everyone else, when really I need to do it for myself. I want to be world champion my whole life, and if it doesn't happen this year, which I'm fully open that it might not, I know that I've got 20 years possibly in this game to do it, but I know that I'm in really peak form, great chance this year, so I'll be giving it my all to do it, but it's going to be really tough, as I always say.
I can ask you about this now because it's nailed on. I don't care what anyone says. How excited are you to be playing in the Premier League next year? Because we've had this conversation for probably 3 or 4 years that everyone's like, at some point Luke will play. It got closer and closer. Look, now it's going to happen. How excited are you for this opportunity?
Do you know what the funny thing is about it? I always thought that when I was going to be in the Premier League, that probably would have looked up on the screen in the world final and seen my name there and gone, get in now, I'm in. But it's quite different this time, because obviously I know, I can't physically be caught at world number.
That's what I mean. We know you're in.
5, so it's not physically possible. So yeah, it is a great thing for me, because obviously everyone knows I've always dreamed of it. I've always wanted to do it. I think the format would probably suit me. The knockout tournaments, I think that really will suit me. But who knows? I think my first year is going to be one of them things where I'm just going to have to take it as experience, because it's going to be very grueling. It's going to be a lot of time away from my family. It's going to be a lot of time away as a whole. But I feel like it will suit me, and to play 16 weeks against the best players in the world continuously, it's only going to benefit my game very well. So I'm very excited to be a part of it next year, and it's going to. I think next year is going to be one of the toughest Premier Leagues that anyone's ever seen. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of good players.
You touched on time away from your family there. That brings me on to another thing. Obviously, you've got to spend time with you in New York and Poland. You got a bit of the World Series, and obviously you couldn't go down under because of Kelly was having an operation, I believe, was it? This year, you're going to be expected to do everything, the Premier League, the whole World Series, Australia, New Zealand, New York. One, like you said there, I'm guessing you're so excited to be doing it. But are you also ready to take that step and be away from home and your family for that longer period?
I mean, I'm never ready for it. It's not something that you obviously look forward to, being away from your family as much. But of course, I have a commitment to the game. I have a commitment to being, when you're at the top of this sport, that you have to go and commit and do things for the PDC, and obviously going out and showcasing your talent to places like America and Australia and Poland and whatever. So obviously this is things that you have to do. You know, this next year, if I'm in all the World Series, I'll play in all World Series. You know, I'll play in them all as long as nothing comes up and nothing that affects me from being able to play in it. You know, obviously majors are different because there's nothing that could stop me unless it was something real serious. Whereas obviously with Kaylee, you know, obviously it wasn't worth the risk of me going over for not a non-ranked tournament. But yeah, I think, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, it's going to be incredibly busy, and I'm not looking forward to that part of it. But I have to, you know, I think manage my calendar really well, and I might have to skip a few Pro Tours next year, maybe the odd Euro Tour. I don't want to, but you know, you've got to be careful not to burn yourself out and do too much, because I want to be at the peak of my ability in all the major tournaments. So I'm going to have to make sure that I schedule in all the right tournaments and try and you know, miss out a few that, you know, when it gets a bit too busy.
Yeah, no, I get that, and it's something that we've spoken about, as in like our online darts career. We talk about it. I remember winning a Pro Tour was always the pinnacle. It was a real standout moment, and it just seems the Pro Tour seems to have gone a little bit flat, and not important's the wrong word, but it's they're the bottom of the pecking order now, especially for you top guys, that when you've got enough money to be in Minehead, you're safe on this order of merit, they are slightly lesser in your mind, which I completely get. But do the PDC need to find a way almost to reinvent the Pro Tours to make them a little bit more relevant again?
I don't think so. I think, you know, obviously it's not more that they're not relevant to you. I just think when you're playing so much and you're on the big stage all the time, coming down to not the stage, it almost feels like a little bit of a, you know, you're coming down. It's like a down feeling. But that's not nothing to say. You know, I'm obviously playing on stage all the time. So when you're playing on a Pro Tour, you just have to accept it for what it is. Of course, I love playing on the Pro Tour still. I still get my enjoyment. I don't think there's any way that the PDC could make it any different, to be honest. I think they're doing their best, and it's not to the lower ranked players. It's very important, and obviously it's important for players like me to be there, to not allow it to be so easy for them to, you know, win Pro Tours. And me, Michael, and Gezi, Peter, Michael Smith, Nathan Aspel. It's all important for us to be there, you know, to not allow people just to win these Pro Tours as easy, because obviously when I'm there and I'm winning them, you have to beat the top players, and it's really, really tough. So like I said, I'll play in as many as I physically can, but you know, I think it comes down to the point is you let go of the tournaments that are not as prestigious as the others. You know, Euro Tours are massive ranking money. It all comes down to ranking money, I think, and obviously what the Euro Tour holds, and obviously being on the big stage, you know, I'll hopefully play in all 13 next year, but something has to give. So of course it would be the Players' Championships, as if, you know, if I have to miss a few here and there.
Last one before I let you go. If I'd have said to you this time last year you'd have won 3 major TV titles, what would you have said to me?
I'd have said you're talking rubbish, Phil. Like always, no, I'm joking. I would have said, I don't believe you. I maybe said maybe 1, but to have won 3 out of the last 4, it's in the manner I've done it. It's quite incredible. I still can't believe it now, to be honest. You know, I've worked really, really hard my whole career, and I always wanted to just win one major. Don't never leave this sport not being a major champion, because it really would have devastated me. I know I've got a long way to go before I'd have been worried about that, but to go on and win 3, you know, I've overtaken a lot of players already that have been on the tour for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
You know, so to win 3 is absolutely incredible, and now my goal is set into winning 10 to 15 before I retire. I mean, I could smash that out of the park, who knows, but my feet are firmly on the ground. I know that anything can be taken away from you from a split second, so I'm enjoying the moment for what it is at this moment in time. I'm going to keep working hard, keep trying to win as much as I can, and obviously the end goal is to be world champion, world number 1, so I'll be doing everything in my power to get there one day.
Luke, massive congratulations on the year. Thank you for your time as always, and we'll see you at Alexandra Palace, mate.
Thank you, Phil. Cheers, mate.
Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championships.